Welcome to Deadline Day, everybody. If you don't know already, we are going to be doing a Transfer Deadline Day live stream tonight on the YouTube channel at 8 o'clock, so tune in for that. But we are here to react to some breaking news. The here we go has happened. Aubameyang to Chelsea, in return Marcos Alonso, and a bit of Bunsen burner. What are you saying, Zach?
He's gone. Marcos Alonso is gone. Look, I think we've spoken a few times about Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang and moving back to London. Chelsea are in need of a striker. I think the striker market at the moment is really, really poor. Erling Haaland's already moved. The other guys have already moved that were previously available. Even if Chelsea would have taken a punt on Nunes, there's no chance for that. And so I think Aubameyang is a good stopgap. The contract is pretty good. It's 2 years with an option of a third year if he plays a decent amount of minutes in his second year. I think that's smart from Chelsea. And realistically, for now, it's someone that has worked with Thomas Tuchel, and it's Thomas Tuchel's signing. This is all on him now. All of the players he's had a hand in or has recommended the club to go and buy. And so they need to perform. And I think Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, out of all of them, is the guy that he's recommended the most. I don't think, unless it was coming from Thomas Tuchel, I don't think Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang will be at Chelsea. I think he's done a lot of pushing to make sure he joins the club. And look, the fee's not too bad. I think it's about 7.5 million euros, and Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, and Marcos Alonso. And overall, if he can get into double figures in the Premier League, that's fantastic. We've not had a striker do that at Chelsea since Tammy Abraham, and really, to be honest, we probably shouldn't have sold him.
Yeah. All right, let's get the neutral voice in the room then. Pat, what do you think about Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang's fit? Because a lot is made regularly of Chelsea's forward line and their desperation for a striker, but this surely means the end of the Kai Havertz experiment as number 9, and we saw what happened with Romelu Lukaku last season. Are you positive or negative about it?
It's a mixed bag, I think. I mean, he's more of a conventional striker than Havertz, so it may well be that actually that helps Chelsea. It might be that when players like Sterling and Mount are looking up for somebody, that person will be in a more conventional striker position than Havertz, who does drift a lot. I mean, I looked at the pass map from the game the other day, and Mount and Havertz were almost on top of each other at times, and I don't think that that's helping anybody. However, I don't see how this solves the creativity problem. The creativity problem needs to be solved by getting Mount in his conventional positions and getting Reece James back at wing back. That is how it is solved. Because what Aubameyang is not going to do is create chances out of nothing, especially not at this stage of his career. This contract is going to take him up until he's 35, possibly nearly 36 in fact. And while you say it doesn't cost that much, 7 million up front, plus it's probably going to be at least 200k a week, you're suddenly looking at a 27 million investment for 2 years. That's 13 million a year. That's a lot. So I don't know. If you just need a striker, I still do think he's got something in him. In that half season at Barcelona, 3 shots a game, he was at something like 0.8 xG per 90, 10 goals and an assist in 1,100 minutes. If he does that at Chelsea, Chelsea are a better side than Barcelona, then that'll be great for them. But I do have misgivings about it because he's not going to press. He's not the player he was earlier in his career, where he could peel out wide while Sterling goes through the middle. He's not going to be particularly involved in link-up the way that Havertz is and create shots for other people. So to me, the entire success of this move is not really about Aubameyang. It's about Chelsea fixing the creativity issue.
Yeah, I also am very, very intrigued. You mentioned it briefly there, how he works in this Thomas Tuchel counter-pressing system. Because Thomas Tuchel has worked with in the past. Lots has been made of how Thomas Tuchel got the best out of him at Dortmund and had a great relationship. But that was a very different Aubameyang to the Aubameyang we saw at Arsenal towards the back end of his time there under Arteta, who wasn't able to do those things physically. So as a Chelsea fan, or willing. As a Chelsea fan, are you slightly concerned how he fits into the counter press, or do you just want goals?
At this point, I think goals is the main issue. We've just come off of several seasons where Jorginho was our top goal scorer in the Premier League, and last year Mason Mount was our top goal scorer in the Premier League. Great pressers, brilliant, but we're not finding the net enough. And I think it's tough because I think if he is getting into positions and scoring enough goals, then the pressing issue isn't as bad as it might be. I also think I don't necessarily think he will give up on the Havertz forward line as well.
Where does he play Havertz and Aubameyang?
Well, I think there's a possibility. from the way this season has started, he's wanting to play a 4 at the back. He's tried it several times now, and I think that is the way he wants to go, into a 4-2.
He's just done 75 million on a centre back, and Koulibaly and Thiago Silva in there.
Yeah, Thiago Silva's also eventually going to get on.
But he's also your best defender.
Yeah, for sure. But there's a lot of games going on. There's a lot of games going on, and I think there's minutes to be shared. And obviously, he will also feature in a 3 at the back as well. Thomas Tuchel, I think out of many of the managers, as you see with Klopp and Pep Guardiola, I think Thomas Tuchel especially is someone who isn't about you're playing 4-4-2 or whatever. It's in certain transitions you're in different areas. It's not a set formation, so I don't think it really matters. But he is keen to get another midfielder onto the pitch, and what that may allow is Kai Havertz to feature behind someone like Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, more so like he did at Leverkusen. Who that means will go out on the right. Do you stick Mason Mount out there, which isn't necessarily the position you want him to be in, or is that where Christian Pulisic or Kai Havertz or Hakim Ziyech could maybe find themselves? Because obviously the left wing is going to be Raheem Sterling, so he has also featured out there, I guess, for the right for City as well. He could do both. And so, there's definitely ways of fitting both of them in the system, but maybe at the beginning, Kai might have to drop out for it. What is sad as well, I do have to admit, is even though I know Chelsea lost, but for the 15 minutes that Broha got on the pitch, he looked really good. He was finally someone that Chelsea go direct through. He was stronger than I remembered him being. He's definitely built up. He was causing the Southampton defence a lot of issues for only the 15 minutes he was on, and the chances that he was getting, not many, due to that kind of creativity issue, he was making something out of. So I do hope as well that he is maybe also able to split minutes and kind of play through that middle as well. But look, at the very bottom line, Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang is someone who's experienced in the Premier League, knows exactly what the league is about, and knows what Thomas Tuchel is about, and someone that Chelsea can have a direct approach through the middle for. Whereas I think someone like Kai Havertz, as Pat mentioned, wasn't that. He's much more the link-up guy, and when he's great, you see goals that happen against Leicester where he's on the right flank and he's giving it to Reece James, who puts the brilliant cross in for Raheem Sterling. But when it's not quite working out, you see it against Southampton, and you're lacking that threat in the middle.
Pat, it obviously didn't end that well at Arsenal, but final few months of him at the club, what are your kind of takeaways from him on the pitch rather than those off-the-field problems?
Well, on the pitch, I don't know. I mean, the difficulty is that I wonder with this whether you're going to end up in a bit of the situation with Ronaldo at United last season, or Arsenal starting the season with Aubameyang, where you've got a guy there who is the most reliable scorer in the team, but even if he has a good season by himself, he may make the team not have a good season, if that makes sense, because of the way that it kind of destructures everything. I mean, I think he still was getting into positions. I think that if you brought him back to a fully functioning Arsenal side now, where the mood is good, then he probably would perform a little bit better than he did then. But the question is what he's going to transmit to the team. It's a totally different context, though. Like with Arsenal, very young side in need of leadership, in need of discipline. This Chelsea team is absolutely full of experience. And if Aubameyang comes in and tries to bigfoot people, then guys like Koulibaly and Silva, who are incredibly experienced, are going to say, you can't behave that way here. So from that point of view, and with a manager who already knows him, I worry about it a little bit less. I don't think it'll be quite as bad as it was at Arsenal, but it's certainly something to watch out for, especially because the attitude from some Chelsea players lately has not been what you might want from them.
All right, let's wrap it up with a prediction of how many goals Aubameyang scores at Chelsea this season in the Premier League.
Mate, as I said, anything that hits double figures, I'm over the moon with. I will say we're already 5 games in, 13.
I think that's high.
Yeah, no, it is high. It is high.
We were talking about him in that Arsenal season, having
it is high.
Remontada instead of 13. He's already missed 5-6 games. How many are you going to say?
I'll say 10, 11, somewhere around there.
And I'll happily take that.
I would be surprised if he gets into double figures.
There's a lot of games left, and he hasn't got the World Cup either. With
I'm going to go 9, and I think that would still be a relatively successful.
Yeah, that'd be all right.
But anyway, that is it for this little segment. If you want to tune in later for the live stream, we're going more in depth on the Aubameyang move, as well as plenty of other transfers. That's live at 8 o'clock. Make sure you're there to tune in.